women's testimony being worth
No,
half of that of a man's
That's
under
right, and
certain
then
circumstances.
you'll find that Sharia law in many different parts of many different parts of the Middle Eastern countries are very different. You have honor killing, you have
Okay, well, I gave a
female
specific
mili-
example.
Yeah.
Do you believe in that?
No, I believe in the
Do you
Sharia.
think women
the
should
five
be able to
pillars.
drive?
No, of course they should drive.
You do?
A woman is equal to a man. I believe in the five
Well,
pillars.
not in most Muslim countries.
Well,
I mean,
that's right,
anywhere Islam obtains, you find the routine persecution of homosexuals and oppression of women. I mean, you're lucky to live here, right?
Absolutely, but that's not normal.
You wouldn't want to
the
move any of those
the
countries.
behavior of the Sharia
can
law that
can you name a majority Muslim country you'd rather live in than here?
Name a what, sorry?
A majority Muslim. Is there any country, forget that for a second, is there any country
majority Muslim country you would rather live in than here?
No.
Okay, then I think we're good.
Good.
No, but hang on a second. Each country has a certain way of their own law. You have countries like the Middle East that take away the women's rights, but that has nothing to do with Islam. So what I want to say to you,
why does it occur so often in Islamic countries?
You know why? Because it's been hijacked.
Why is it
you've got people that have hijacked it with extremism. You have some that hijacked it because they just want to be lazy, and you have typical men who want to take over the nation.
I could be murdered in 11 Muslim countries, which together comprise about 300 million people.
And you'll find that's not Islam.
For my sexuality.
And that's not Islam.
But that's, okay, well, it's fine for you to say that's not Islam, but you're discounting half your own faith.
No, there's a difference between Islam and Muslims. You have to understand that. It's a behavior of Muslims that can actually make Islam look bad, right? It's how you want to interpret.
Is there anywhere in the world, in your view, that practices Islam correctly?
Nobody is perfect. No, I don't reckon anybody practices any religion perfectly.
So everywhere in the world there is Islam. They practice it badly, with the result that they oppress women and murder homosexuals.
Shakespeare still tried to be translated to this date, and that's Shakespeare. There is nobody that can translate anything to the point where they have it.
Translating Shakespeare? It's
in
English.
It's an example.
Example of what? He wrote in English. We don't translate Shakespeare.
No, but when they do their plays and whatnot, they are still trying to understand the meaning behind Shakespeare.
Are you talking about translation or interpretation? Because the Quran is supposed to be the final, unalterable, and perfect word of God. So you're not supposed to translate it. You're supposed to interpret it with the help of the Hadiths and the Sunnah and all the rest of it.
But it depends on who is teaching. It depends on who is teaching.
So there isn't a single Islamic country or Islamic leader that gets it right. You, on the other hand, have it right.
No, I'm not saying that at all.
You hold the key to a virtuous version of Islam that none of us have ever heard of.
No, I'm not saying that at all.
That no Muslim country operates according to. But so if we were to give you like the keys to an empty country, you would be able to create a version of Islam that doesn't oppress women and murder homosexuals.
Well, I would create it to the way that God wanted peace and love, and He is just. He is not unjust as some will.
The principle of Quranic abrogation, right?
Look, I'm not a scholar. I'm not a scholar.
So what Quranic abrogation means, what it means is that because the Quran is inherently internally inconsistent, like a lot of big, long, complicated books, right? Quranic abrogation is not a Western principle. It is an accepted Islamic principle of scholarship, which says that out of the verses that contradict one another, the verses that were revealed to Muhammad later supersede the ones that were revealed earlier. So if you reorder the Quran chronologically, the stuff that came later, that was revealed to Muhammad by Allah later, supersedes anything that might be contradictory in the earlier verses.
And who told you this information?
Well, this is
Which scholar gave you this information? Did you read it out of the book yourself?
Very well established Islamic scholarship. So the problem that you have, right, is that the later verses, when Muhammad was a warlord, right, supersede the earlier ones, which are all the peace, love, and understanding.
No,
so the jihad verses that are about killing the unbeliever are the ones that, according to Islamic scholars, are the ones that supersede the peace, love, and understanding.
If we keep saying that, Islam teaches you this, we can slap each other back and forth.
You're challenging me on the name of specific scholars, and you didn't even know what abrogation meant.
Let me speak. We can slap each other back and forth, but if we're going to keep addressing the negative of what
I'm not going to slap you.
Muslims like me that keep saying that's wrong.
I don't use violence.
Muslims like me that keep saying this is wrong, and then you keep hearing someone saying, oh well, no, it's bad, and you're all murderers, and you're whatnot, and this is what your Quran says.
How many times a day do you pray?
Hang on a second. How many times? 1 second, please.
Do you pray 5 times a day?
Yes. Well, I try and do my best. I'm not the best.
How many times a day do you pray?
5 times a day, but I'm not the best.
You pray 5 times a day.
I am not the best. I miss a bit. I've made that clear.
When's your next prayer today?
Listen,
what time?
I won't have time until I get home.
So you're not praying 5 times a day. Will you pray 5 times tomorrow?
I do my best.
Do you do namaz on Fridays?
I do my best. Let me finish my question.
Do you go to namaz on Fridays?
Let me finish my question.
Do you go to namaz on Fridays?
No, I do not. I don't follow a preacher.
So,
I don't follow an imam. Okay, I don't want, because I don't want to get confused in certain ways. Regardless,
I just don't understand what respect you call yourself a Muslim.
What I'm trying to say to you is, right? Whether we keep identifying the negative and people like me saying, well, no, we're not all like that, right? You have your opinion on so many things. We can agree to disagree on so many different levels. What is your solution? If you think you have the answer to everything, please let me know. What is your solution? You're saying
Islam from the West.
Expel Islam from the West.
Yeah. Anyone who describes themselves as a Muslim, send them back to the Middle East.
Say that again.
Anyone who describes themselves as a Muslim, we should send back to the Middle East.
So I should go back to the Middle East then?
If you describe yourself as a Muslim, if you believe in the precepts of Islam and all of the things that Islam
then
seems to produce in those countries, I think you should
maybe you need to then understand what actually Islam means. And
I understand what abrogation is.
Right?
I seem to understand more about the Quran than you do.
I'm not a scholar, honey. You've only you just
you can ask me questions about the Bible. I'll know those too.
And you can, but that's easy to cherry pick. We can
cherry picking. It's like
you've cherry picked your little bits and pieces, and you just think, okay, well that's what I'll just address.
This isn't going very well for you, is it?
No, it doesn't really matter. It's not going very well for you because I'm trying to let you know that there's other Muslims than what you think and you perceive just because you see on the media. You said yourself, everything's fake news.
Describe to somebody, I think that was somebody else with much less nice hair. Is there anybody in public life you consider to be a good Muslim?
My family.
No, in public life. Any famous people you think are good Muslims? You know, like
Muhammad Ali. Thank you very much.
DJ Khaled, perhaps. Any rappers? Like, give me an idea of something.
But you know, you'd find that a lot of the Muslims that don't put themselves out there, you wouldn't even know that they're Muslims.
I think I know
there's a lot. There's a lot of American Muslims out there who are fabulous. But again, not everything is what you see in media.
Like Linda Sarsour? You think she's cool?
No, I don't think she's cool actually.
Cool. What don't you like about Linda Sarsour?
Well, because I think having somebody with that platform who's spreading, correct me if I'm wrong, but from what I can see in media, who's spreading hate and jihad and Sharia, well, that's not what we want.
Because she's considered an enlightened, modern, progressive Muslim in America, so you don't think she is?
No, I don't. Anybody that wants to try and change the law in the country that they reside in, then that's a very different story.
I don't mean to offend you, but if you don't pray...
Don't lie, you do.
Well, I don't care if I do, but I'm trying to get to the truth. If you don't pray, you don't seem to agree with any Muslim countries or leaders, you don't follow an imam, you don't go to Namaz on Fridays, how are you Muslim?
Because Islam is a submission to God. Islam, you can read the book.
You seem to be submitting to stupidity. I don't know if you're submitting to God.
No, honey, you do your 5 pillars. You pay your charity. You pay.
Do you pay
pray,
your zakat? You pay your zakat.
I pay
every year.
I pay your
mandated zakat every year. Do you?
I will
horse shit.
No, I
horse
do.
Shit.
I do.
You pay your zakat on top of your taxes. You pay your zakat.
I do.
And you'd be prepared to publish that, would you?
Absolutely. I pay, and I can prove it. I've got recording. I can show you children, orphans that I've given my money to who have thanked me.
Who'd you give your zakat to?
I give it to my mother. She goes and gives it to the people that are in need. Thank you very much.
Where does she live in the Middle East or something?
No,
she out in Syria building camps?
No, darling. When she travels, she'll go to orphans. She'll give it to children. She'll give it to because there is no welfare in other countries.
Your mother's on holiday in Morocco and gives a few dollars to a beggar, and that's your zakat.
It's not a beggar.
How much
They're not beggars.
zakat
They're people that are in need.
How much zakat do you pay?
Depends. That's personal.
It doesn't depend. Zakat's a very specific figure. Do you know what it is?
Well, it depends on. No, I pay for my children as well.
No, it doesn't depend.
It does. It does
okay,
depend.
so you're taking on zakat for you and your children. I mean, with taxes, you must be left with what, 10% of your salary left?
It's my business.
Okay, so that was one pillar. What are the other 4?
You got to go to the pilgrimage.
Have you done the Hajj?
No, I haven't.
Have you done the short one?
One day I'd like to.
Have you done the short Hajj, the mini one that they do? That's not the full Hajj.
No,
have you done
I
that?
haven't.
Okay, so next pillar. Do you know the 5 pillars of Islam?
Yeah, what are we up to?
You don't know the 5 pillars
I
of Islam?
do, excuse me, don't try and twist words. I do know the 5 pillars.
So what are the 5 pillars of Islam?
What I'm trying, listen.
I know them. Do you know them?
Yeah, I do. You can tell me all you like. What I'm trying to say to you is let's not just try and bring it back on me. What I'm trying to say
I'm just asking you if you know the central tenets of your own faith, the one that you are defending so vigorously and enthusiastically with me. I'm asking if you know the central 5 tenets of your own religion. The one that you're saying is so wonderful.
What I'm trying to say to you is, let's not get it about me.
No wonder you don't like Muslims. You don't know what they believe.
No.
No wonder you don't like going to the Middle East. You have no idea about it.
I'm trying to explain to you that there are other different types of Muslims. You put everybody in the same category. Forget about me. Let's just take the focus away from me.
I'm quite interested
in
you.
No,
I think you're fascinating.
Let's get the focus away from me, right? What I'm trying to get out of you is, what would you say to people who are like me that you're putting everybody in the same category? You know, I mean, I'm not the best Muslim. Who cares?
I think we've established that.